Ciao!
Ciao belle!
Ciao, buona giornata!
We're back after quite a break, huh? I think we did our last one. I just checked in March 2020, and you all know what was happening then. So we kind of like, at least on this format.
Yeah.
And then we did a little shuffle.
It was also just a good time to just kind of like figure things out, like what did we want to do with our lives, and we had just released the record, and it was really weird trying to kind of push that, like, hey, yeah, don't worry about not being able to go outside and having to get whatever. Listen to our new released album instead. Like, it just didn't feel right. So yeah, we went on a huge long hiatus.
Yeah.
And
But do check that record. We released it on the 2nd of February 2020. So 2222, which we thought was kind of cool, but then it kind of went completely under the radar because we never pushed it. But it's called Love Life, and it's on Bandcamp, and that's it.
and on Spotify.
And YouTube. It's on Spotify.
Yeah, you can have it's even got the scores, so like the instrumental version, which is really
like stripped down instrumentals
and
like
made longer, and oh yeah, it's great. So anyway, this is not a video about pushing our music, but about talking about where we are. We are sitting here in the sun in January in the beautiful place called Abruzzo.
Which is in central Italy.
And we are currently in our garden, which is almost 4,000 square meters of land.
That's our land behind us, or part of it at least.
And we are going to be growing food.
Lots of it.
We're going to be making this into a hen house. Hello, Harry.
Harry loves it here. He loves chasing lizards and mice and catching them and eating them quite gnarlily.
And he's not so fat anymore.
No. Don't knock over the camera though, Harry, please.
So, yeah, questions we've had regarding Italy is, why did we move here? How did we move here? And what are we going to do for work? And we're going to try and reply to these questions as quickly as possible, so that we don't, waste too much of the day talking about things.
So yeah, why? Okay, this is what a beautiful story, really, isn't it? How that came to pass. I mean, we've been wanting to move away. Like many people in Iceland fantasize about moving somewhere warmer, and every springtime, or supposed springtime, when it's supposed to be springtime, we'd be like, And we tried to grow things there, but the season's so short, and you need a greenhouse, and really, if you want to do anything, and it's just like...
Or you need a big garden, and that's super expensive there.
Yeah, exactly. And
place.
Yeah, tell them about how your thing came about, this idea that you had.
So, okay, we had both landed jobs that we were quite happy with. I was cooking, and I was really enjoying it, and it was super nice people I was working with, and you were building, super nice people you were working with, but still it kind of like wasn't doing it, like still there was this unhappiness, basically, with the situation. And I mean, okay, and then we did need to move. We had 50 square meters, we were 4 people, and we didn't have a bedroom anymore, because we'd given the kids the 2 bedrooms in the flat, and our bedroom was like under the eaves, and you couldn't even stand upright in it, and had no door, and we were sleeping in the living room, and it was just like messing with our mojo crazily.
Yeah.
We were just feeling kind of like, no space. And then outside of our house also, I mean, the garden was super tiny, and there was constantly somebody building somewhere close by, because it's like an area of like 100-year-old houses, and there was constantly somebody changing the roof, or like some kind of big machinery going on.
Constantly new Airbnb, people coming and going, and parking cars badly, and noise, and
constantly a car. You could only at nighttime or in the winter would you have like complete stillness. And so yeah, our souls were feeling a little like antsy. and then we stopped smoking weed. And when you take your comfort away, you know, you start to become really kind of like honest about your discomfort, you know, because you can't just like roll on up and forget about it. So I I was like, okay, Anik asked me like, okay, I can see that you're not very happy at the job that you're doing, even though you said, you know, a couple of months ago, like this was what you wanted to be doing. And so what is it that you would actually like to do? What would you ideally like to work as? And I've tried everything, you know, I've tried theater and I've tried, you know, like I've basically done all the dream jobs and always ended up still being super ungrateful for it. And
You'd really take it home with you as well,
yeah,
you know, like spend many hours after work digesting the work day, you know,
yeah,
and it was like,
like I couldn't just let it go. I really lived it. And okay, so I decided to just like go into like a trance state and just allow myself to speak. Instead of like writing it up, I just pressed record on my phone, closed my eyes, and decided to describe the perfect place that I would live at with a perfect life that I would be living, you know. And it was like we're driving there, and there are branches beating up against the window pane of the car, and then we get there and there's like garden area and there's nut trees and fruit trees and there's herbs, and we've got chickens and we've got a dog and we've got a goat, and if you walk a little bit down the property there's like a stream and there's lots of trees, and there's just like a space to be, you know, where you'd go for a walk, you know, where like right outside your door is a space where you would ideally go to just like sit down and just have like a little meditative moment in nature, you know. And then we would have like a sense of community there, and we would, you know, people would be coming selling honey that they're making, and home woven washcloths or something, you know. It was like proper like a little hippie paradise. And yeah, and so I then just like listened back to it and kind of like imagined it, and I could really smell the smells, and you know, we had a wood stove in the kitchen, and when I told Annie about it, I was like, okay, this is actually what I would like to do. I wouldn't like to have a job per se. I would like to be a professional homesteader, you know, just a professional human is what I would like to do with my life.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he was like on it, just like, okay, how can we make this a reality? Because that's how this guy works, you know. It's like I was just gonna have this as a forever dream. Oh, poor me! I wish I could. And you were like, "This is just
Let's
like,
do this.
yeah, like."
And we've been looking at it for a while, but the thing is that everything was so expensive. I mean, we were in this position. We were very lucky. We bought this little flat in Reykjavik just after the crash when no one was buying it. It was crazy cheap. And over the 11 years that we lived there, the value went up like crazy. And I dare say that if you're a flat owner or a homeowner in Reykjavik, you're in a similar situation, you know. And so we were like, we could just sell this, but everywhere we were looking at England because I'm kind of from there, and we're looking at Germany because we both lived there, and all sorts of places, but everywhere would have got us pretty much into the same situation. We would have sold the flat, bought somewhere else, and we would still have a mortgage to pay off and have to be going to work. And so Una told me this dream of hers, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, let's go on this whim. Let's go on this intuitive burst that she's having. And I called my mum because I've lived away from my family for a long time, and I'm like, hey, Mum, we're thinking of doing this. Is there anyone that you happen to know of who might be selling something that fits this description? She's like, oh, that's really sweet of you, but I'm thinking of moving to Italy because her dad was from there. And I was like, wow, Italy, hadn't looked at that yet, even though we'd been here on holiday a couple of times and really loved it.
That's really sweet of you. How do you mean that?
As in to want to move to where she was, because I was saying, hey, I'm thinking of moving. We're thinking of moving to, you know, closer to where you are, you know.
Yeah.
She's like, but I want to move to Italy, and I had a look at the house prices here. I was blown away, man. And so I just went on a hunt, and I combed through everything on the internet, zoned in on this area here, which everyone in this area, there's like, oh man, you chose the best area. It's so beautiful. We got snow-capped mountains there. We got the sea. It's all really close by. We're in the hills, so it's cooler than in the valley. Everything grows here.
We're in a national park, basically.
Yeah, loads of walking trails and biking trails and canoeing and you name it, man. It's insane.
70% of the European flora and fauna are in this area.
Yeah. So I spent a while just looking at places, found a few, came out in May to have a look, and I just fell in love with it. As soon as I saw this place here, I was like, this is the place. I just knew it. And there were a few people bidding on it, and we won the bidding war, and that was it. And we just packed our stuff.
Yeah, basically, the how was just like, okay, decide on the plan and then divide the task. You know, I will sell the place in Iceland, he will buy the place in Italy, and then we just had 4 to-do lists, you know, and every day we just tried to tick off another thing on these to-do lists. And it was super simple like that, you know. It was just one to-do list with what to do it in the flat in order to finish getting it on the market. The next to-do list, everything bureaucratic that we're gonna have to pick up via the car, you know, and then like other bits and bobs, you know, like getting the cat, you know, he had like a long to-do list of like, you know, all kinds of vaccinations and stuff that he needed to get.
Unlike us.
Unlike us. And then the last to-do list was like the house in Italy. Like the first thing on that list was like get the key. And that moment when you know that you've, you know, finished like so many items, and then finally you're on that last level, on that last tier, and you've got the keys, and that's just like, so much fun. But yeah, we did have to wait for like 6 weeks to get our stuff. Customs were like, no,
and amazingly, all the plants in the container survived, and we opened the doors when they were here, and we're like, what? They're all still alive. It was 6 weeks in darkness without any water.
Yeah,
we'd heaped blessings on them before we closed the doors. So, yeah.
So yeah, that's the why and the how, and what are we gonna do for work? We're gonna take. We've already invested in a flat in Chieti with Alex's parents. They're gonna move there, so you know we've just like put some of our money into that to secure it, to not have it sitting in some bank account.
And then we want to be doing because there's lots of beautiful old houses here. The people that we bought this place off, they specialise in these old traditional houses, of which there are plenty in this area. Many of which needing love because people have moved out towards the cities and stuff. And at the same time, there's a big influx of people from England, from Australia, from America, from Scandinavia, all sorts of places who are discovering this still undiscovered area of Italy and its crazy cheap prices, and are moving here. So what we want to do is just basically restore them. We're working with the estate agent, kind of hand in hand a little bit, and restoring places to their former beauty. And
Yeah, in a traditional way, not like modernizing stuff, but just like taking what is there and working with what is traditional and just making it nice.
And helping people make that move that we did, because it can be daunting. There is a lot of... We had to really kind of machete through the rainforest on this, because there's no documentation of like, this is the easy way to do it. There's like 100 different...
Yeah, but you know, if you... Yeah, we've made a list of where everything is, you know, on one list, what you need, which we found through searching on the internet. You can also do it like that, you know, but we'd be willing to help whoever wants to come here. And, you know, like I learned that when we were moving our container, the most important thing was a declaration of the fact that we weren't importing any important pieces of art. Just like,
but we are also the kind of people who are happy to do that, who are happy to dive into like, let's do this ourselves. But I think there are a lot of people who do find it a little bit daunting and who wouldn't mind, you know.
One interesting thing of like, when we were living in Iceland, one of the why we wouldn't move away from Iceland was the water. And you know, like having the hot water heated up from the lava, and I still, you know, like I miss that definitely, having like scalding hot showers, so you're kind of cooked through almost.
Well, but we discovered how to do that here too.
Yeah, we've discovered how to do that here, and you just heat up the water even hotter than you're used to. But the cold water here is so so amazing. It's so good.
It's like literally mountain juice. It comes from like in the village. It just comes out of the rocks there, and the stuff that we get from the tap is just directly from the mountains. It didn't go through some reservoir and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's really direct, and
Really
it's so
good.
good, really
Ice
cold,
cold.
really good.
Yeah.
Amazing. You are what you drink. Remember, people.
Have
And
some
also, talking about you are what you eat, you know, I mean, everyone here, they like our neighbours just over there, they came and ploughed our field after, you know, we didn't even need to ask. They're like, hey, you're going to need your field ploughed. And they did that. Came over with loads of tomatoes and peppers and melons. And people just had, there's an abundance because everything grows here and everyone grows things. And so there is just plentiful of everything. And so.
Yeah.
It's like this, rather than a commune of everyone owning together, it's everyone takes care of themselves and provides with their surplus, as it were, you know.
Yeah.
And it's super lovely. I really, really enjoy it. And there's also with help, like if we're having problems because we don't understand the heater, the guy comes over from next door and he'll figure it out with us or call his brother, or, you know, there's this very, just this support network of this that you don't really that you do get in small communities where people know each other, you know.
And then we get to give back by going picking grapes with them, or you know, helping out with cleaning the pig that they've slaughtered, or you know, and just learn lots in the process. Like that's kind of also something that we really wanted. We want to feel really stupid again, you know, where you're kind of like, oh, what's this? Oh, how do you do this? How do you? Wow.
How do you speak Italiano?
How do you eat persimmon? You know, how?
Yeah.
What do you do with these fruits? And what are these fruits? And so we really got that. We are really like at the beginning of a big new chapter now.
And we're loving it. It's just discovering plants growing wild in our garden, and you know, it's just amazing. Such abundance. You can see it's January, and it's everything's just alive. You can hear the birds everywhere. I'm sitting next to our fig tree here, one of our fig trees, and we've got a bunch of olive trees and nut trees and cherry tree, and it's nut and firewood growing just over there, which I've been chopping down a dead oak tree and so on.
Yeah. So this is the why, the how, and what are you going to do for work?
One thing that I want to add though as well is one thing that we've really noticed since coming here is how our auras, how our whole energy field has just increased vastly. Because even though we lived in a cute little part of old Reykjavik where it's like it's not, you know, high rise or anything, but it's still, everyone's in each other's fields. There's Wi-Fi everywhere. There's, you know, everyone's. And we could feel, you know, even if we went outside into the garden, there's people close by always, and you feel very inhibited energetically. Also, just like, you know, being able to just sing or whatever, you know what I mean? There's always you felt that you're in someone else's energy, whereas here we've just expanded hugely, and we live in our own house, and the next neighbours are 200 meters away, and it's just absolutely lovely.
It is crazy.
Grown. And we're just at the very beginning of that growth, you know. So yeah, highly recommended. And just like being in nature and being in a small community, which I believe humans are supposed to be in, you know, people can only really know 150 people, and if you get into bigger communities, people start being able to hide their you know, that's where narcissism can thrive, because people can hide behind who they really are. Whereas in a smaller community, you can't get away with this. You have to be stand behind your words and deeds and stuff. You know,
to be accountable.
Exactly, and so that to me, this is real humanity. This is how, and I feel really good being here.
And this is also ties in with like the farmer. You have to be accountable for your food. You know, if you're going to grow it, you have to go and turn up to the garden every day and do your job and do, you know, this, like, instead of just being able to take away, or you know, like this kind of opting out of things because you just can't be bothered, because you feel like you're already owed so much because you're stretching yourself like crazy in some job that you hate, you know. This is really like, if you've got the chance to get rid of a property and acquire a property at a small fraction of that price, and then, you know, see what you do with the rest of it, I would definitely recommend it because it feels good.
And it's also, I mean, something that we noticed when we were still in Reykjavik, and we would tell a few people about that we were planning on doing this. We heard so often like, oh, that's the dream, you know. And it's like so many people dreaming it. Why that? It's so easy. Well, it's not so easy, but it's doable. It's very doable, you know. As we've now done, and we love it. We're so happy that we did this finally after years of dreaming it. Yeah,
that's all it is, and just ticking it off.
Yeah. And the kids are at school here, loving it. They've adapted really quickly, learning the language, and they're just really happy here. It's amazing. The cat's happy. Happy.
But of course, it's a big change. You know, it's not been like super easy. Everything are so easy, and there's also stress that comes with like bearing the responsibility of having to, you know, not having a job and having to kind of like figure out a way that you're gonna live into the future, you know. But rather that than freaking Groundhog Day. And like my workplace was in the cellar. I didn't have a single window. I never knew what kind of weather was outside, and it just drove me nuts. And then when I would go outside, it was either snowing or raining or windy or...
And I don't miss the dark mornings, man. I wake up at 6:30 making coffee at 7 and the sun's rising. It's beautiful. I love it.
So, we're going to show you around our property. We're going to take you on a little house tour. Are you ready?
Check it out.
Check it out.
Right, so this is our land. This is our barn right here. We've got Isa, our daughter, on the camera.
These are our olive trees. And there's the field where we're going to be growing vegetables in the not too distant future. It's about, how warm is it now? Like 12 degrees?
Feels warmer in the sun though.
And
this is where over here, this is where we were filming earlier on. This is where we're going to have, we'll have a patio there, I guess, or one of them. They had to take the chicken coop down, but we're going to rebuild that and have chickens there. They had to take the staircase down there as well because regulation stuff. We're going to put that back, and then we have a patio and another balcony over there with an incredible view over the valley. And maybe we'll put these windows back in. I think that would be nice. Now we're going to show you what keeps the house warm.
So we thought that we were being super self-sufficient here with olive pits that you just get from here, throw in there, and it heats up the water. But turns out it's from Spain. It's imported from Spain. It comes in plastic bags, wrapped in plastic. And so we might just switch over to gas, or have both.
But here you see, you catch some of the firewood that we got from one of the trees in our land. Da, 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 da.
And if you walk over here, this is where the staircase will be. Going to the top, there's like a little attic above the whole house. And over there on top of this, that's where the kitchen used to be, and we're going to build that back as a room. And then a little shed underneath. But this is probably the oldest building of them all. And this is the barn. It's actually quite big. So yeah, we're gonna have a woodworking shop in here. And just like a basic, just a place to keep our tools and, you know, classic
keep
stuff.
The tractor and the combine harvester.
Here's a little dog house where the dog used to live. Over there is the persimmon tree that is now full of fruits in perfect ripe condition. We've been very lazy eating it, as locals also seem to be.
Right here is the water gathering thing. which we also need to rig up a little better. All of the drains of the roofs and everywhere lead into this, which gathers water for used for irrigation in the summertime.
And here we're also thinking of putting a patio over it.
These here are the Spanish olive kernels that heat the house.
They smell so good though. They smell really good. But yeah, if you walk around to the drive.
This is a road that leads to the mine further down, which is very little used, so it's pretty much our own private road.
And over here is the field. You can get a better view of it from up here, where we will be growing everything. Everything we can think of. And then
another fig tree right here.
Fig tree, and that's a laurel tree over there. And the big shady oak.
And then we have our back land over there, which you can't really see here, but there's a number of fruit and olive trees and so on there. Yeah, this is our house from the front. When we arrived, they had taken the roof of the carport off, and the whole this area here was all removed. So we had to build that back up with Mikey's help. He came out with us, and we put that all back in place. Here we have the Romeo and Juliet balcony for serenading.
And now we will enter the main living quarters.
This is us being self-sufficient with some winter radishes. Come on in.
Benvenuti!
This is what we're currently using as our dining room, but will most probably turn into a kind of pre-growing store.
Like a little greenhouse.
Because it gets quite chilly in the winter and very, very warm in the summer.
And now you enter La Casa. Here's Isaac's room. Ta-da! Super cozy. Super cozy little spot.
First thing we did when we moved in was preparing the two kids' rooms and our bedroom in the living room so that it felt more homely.
And then there's Owen's abode. Super cozy. We have a bathroom,
which we haven't done anything to yet.
Which is civilized with a bidet and an amazing view at night, especially when you can see the lights from the little towns on the other side of the valley. And there's Harry in the garden, look, underneath a tree.
Over there in the valley, there's the most incredible river in a canyon with turquoise water with rock faces on either side. It's so beautiful. It's like a half-hour walk to get there through amazing forest.
Let's go to the bedroom. Ta-da!
This is our very well-kept bedroom.
Nobody made their beds this morning, which is very unlike us.
Very unlike. Odin did, of course.
If you look out this window, you see snow-capped mountains and you feel like you're in the Alps. It's truly amazing. And yeah, we have painted this room to match the 70s or 60s furniture that came with the place.
Also, this was completely open when we came in. There's a huge crack, and so we had to fix that up here in the thing. And so that's all been...
It had like leaves, you know, leaves and insects coming through. And yeah, the final room of upstairs is the kitchen / living room.
Oh, we haven't shown downstairs yet, of course.
And that's a fireplace, and it's amazing.
Super lovely during the Christmas period. We had that on quite a lot. And out there, out the window, that was once a door to what used to be the kitchen, which they had to remove because they didn't get permission for building it. We're going to put that back, not as a kitchen, but as a living room extension. And we're going to move this kitchen here downstairs, which we were about to show you.
Yeah, let's go downstairs.
And this will be just the living room.
So out we go again.
You're doing a great job, Isa. Isn't she? There's Harry to say hello.
Carrozzini. That's going to be a really funny jump. So this will become a kitchen.
They took this door out. We're going to put that back in. So this will be the washing area for the kitchen, the wet area, and this room we did quite a lot of work to make it a Christmas room, but it's going to be the kitchen. And let me quickly explain. This is quite typically done here. There was a period where they plastered over all of these natural walls, these beautiful natural walls, and then which doesn't let them breathe, so they get moist. So we took away all the moist parts of the wall, like they do, and did this instead, which is really rather pretty. And painted, obviously, and redid the fireplace down here.
I love the floor here. It's like one of my favorite features of the house.
So yeah, this is going to become the new kitchen.
Okay, and then we've got one room here, which is going to be our storage / pantry, maybe / guest room, because that's what we kind of / all of the rooms as. guest beds. But yeah, right now, I mean, here's our oil that we made
From our trees.
which we've already consumed half of. Here's some wine that the neighbours brought, which I had to fill in bottles because the bag was leaking, so they wouldn't have given it to us like this, but this is how we are keeping it. And yeah, here we have all our tools, everything, you know, to the posh.
To the post. Have a look at the ceiling, it's super lovely. It's going to be fun to do this up. So this room is going to be another, and here you can see what the wall looked like before it's been treated, before we repointed it like we did next door. That was a fun skill to learn and apply.
This is going to become the kitchen, the wet kitchen area. So we're going to put a different sink here, make it a little bit higher for us tall Scandinavians. And yeah, this is our old fridge. Great having 2 fridges. Who doesn't want to have 2 fridges? And this room,
It's going to be where the magic happens.
it's going to be where the magic happens. It's going to be a guest room / studio. This is the studio line.
Again, we have to we've started a little bit, but we have to do it properly, taking the moisture off the walls, removing the concrete that's there, and then through the window there, that's where the tool room is, or the new. Well, anyway, another room is going to be when we put that back in place, and yeah. I think it's going to make a very, very nice studio / guest room.
And maybe we can, you know, this little patio out here is super cozy.
A little
Also,
storage.
it's going to be pantry for keeping things cold.
And we spend quite a bit of time just hanging out here and enjoying life. And waving at neighbours that go past and so on.
There's like maybe 4 or 5 cars a day that drive past at some point. But yeah, we're just now this January enjoying these roses and, you know, wondering like when will the garden ever stop blooming, because it hasn't. Not yet.
So
yeah.
that's our place.
Yeah.
This is nice to be back on the podcasting vibe. We'll be doing more again with more of the themes that you're used to from us, but we did want to kind of like,
Have this conversation.
break that ice, because it kind of needed to be done, and because everyone's been asking anyway. And so here we go.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. No.
Leave comments below. No, but actually, yeah, if you do have any ideas of things that you would like us to talk about or whatever, or questions.
Yeah, you don't have to like it. You don't have to subscribe. But if you do want to comment on, like, I would like to know more about something something, or would you like to talk about something something, then, you know, hit it, press it on the keyboard and press the enter button so that it appears in whichever form you want to, messages or comments or whatever. But yeah, thank you.
And see you soon.